Everybody, Teddy J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So there's a lot of news going on this morning. What do we have? We've got Solana. Solana ETF actually has a date. The date is October 16th. It's not necessarily so that it will be approved on that day, but there's a possibility that it can be approved on that day. And it's about a 70% chance as far as the street is concerned. So that's actually quite interesting, and I like that. Now, something else that's catching my attention is Franklin Templeton. I told you this last night. Franklin Templeton has launched EZPZ. When they first announced it, a little while ago, I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty cool name. And what they're saying is it's easy peasy to get involved with a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, and that's what they're doing. They've actually split that. So it's interesting to see how that works out. Let's see, what else do I have? There you go. I just want to make sure I can see everybody. Good morning, Chicano, or good day. I don't know where you are actually. Then we've got Trust Wallet. So a couple of days ago, CZ, the former CEO of Binance, came out and said that the future of normal everyday transactions is going to wind up being wallets, non-custodial wallets, and not centralized exchanges. And so Chicano, I'll get to that in a minute. Everything with regard to crypto is actually Web3. Just to let you know, everything in that space is considered Web3. So metaverse, crypto, NFTs, memes, all that. It's all Web3. Now, with regard to Trust Wallet is saying, in order for those wallets to move forward, you're going to have an awesome user experience as well as a really good security posture. So for me, I'm kind of sitting back and I'm going, that to me automatically removes the idea of, by the way, I don't have any idea what all the icons mean, so I can't comment. But that removes the idea for me personally of web-based wallets, right? I like wallets that are on my device and are not connected unless I connect them. So that to me is kind of a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong. I do leverage web-based wallets, but I think that the security posture of those web-based wallets could be amped up a bit, right? I think MetaMask does a good job. Any wallet that connects to your hardware wallet, I think does a good job, because now your wallet's connected. You need that hardware key in order to do that. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen. And you want to know something else? I really do think that there is going to be a kind of good morning FAO bus. I really do think that there's going to be a change, not a bad change. I think it's going to be a great change. I call it more of an evolution in wallets, right? Microsoft just released their new, they haven't released their new chip, but they announced their new quantum computing chip. And that's going to bring a lot of stuff to the table, right? Because people are already thinking, oh, it might be able to break Bitcoin. Here's the deal though. You have to know how to use it. You have to have the software to use it. You have to have the chip to do it. And there are a lot of technologies out there that are already looking at how to thwart, quantum computing from breaking things. So Charles Hoskinson came out with something and he says, listen, there are a lot of ways that we can work together to actually make that happen. He detailed plans for a proof chain and proof quantum cryptographic measures, those sets of measures, to secure Cardano's blockchain. Now, some people have been thinking, oh, it's going to be something from Algorand. There's an algorithm from Algorand that might be able to help. Somehow, I think it's going to be a layered approach. There's not going to be one thing, from a security perspective. And if I wanted to actually create a strong security posture, I'm actually going to create a layered, kind of defense mechanism, right? And make it so that you have to jump through all of those layers in order to make it work. There is no single solution for it. There really isn't. And I think Charles Hoskinson is calling that out by saying there's going to be a proof chain and a post quantum cryptographic measure along with it. So I can't get into the details because only they know their details. But for me, I think the approach is definitely going to be a multi-layer approach, and that would definitely help to thwart quantum computing from breaking a blockchain. So that's it. That whole space is like crazy interesting to me, because what he's also saying that, hey, look, listen, going forward, we can use quantum to actually create better tech. And what we're really talking about is protecting past tech. So now you know why there's a layered approach, because you're talking about two different areas. So once they implement this new kind of way of doing things, they also need to at that point, because I'm thinking that it would most likely be a fork from that point forward, they would also have to protect what happened in the past from also being broken. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and it takes some. I call them rocket scientists. They're all rocket scientists. Charles Hoskinson, although I don't necessarily particularly care for some of his public comments, he is a very, very smart man, and that is to be respected, right? Like I said, I might disagree with some of his comments, might not even like some of his comments. Other comments I do like, I do respect. But you've got to know that this guy is like just straight up brains. So you've got people like Charles Hoskinson, you've got like Vitalik Buterin, you have them and all their teams thinking about how quantum computing can affect their respective blockchains. It's not like this isn't going unnoticed. It's not like it's going unaddressed. They are very much on top of it. So I'm thinking, yeah, we're gonna get there sooner or later. Now, something that caught my attention with regard to Vitalik Buterin is that he doesn't want the stigmatism stemming from the Libra debacle that Milei caused to be a detriment to crypto, in Argentina. So he's thinking about holding Devconnect in Argentina. Milei actually responded to that. President Milei, the guy at the center of the problem, responded to that and invited him to come. Vitalik Buterin is on record saying, hey, look, listen, political meme coins are not good. They are not good. So I don't think he's saying, oh, hey, President Milei, you're a good guy, I back you. No, what Vitalik Buterin is saying is that, hey, Argentina, we're backing you and we're backing your effort to move forward with crypto. That right there is huge. Right there, that's huge. Love that. Absolutely love that. Societe Generale expands their euro-backed stablecoin EURCV onto Stellar. They integrated it on Stellar blockchain, enhancing transaction efficiency and aligning with MiCA regulations. Now, I want you to take a step back and think about this. Stellar, or XLM, was created by a team that had left Ripple to do something that was more focused on retail investors, especially those in areas of the world that didn't have access to banking, the bankless. Okay. One of the reasons why I love Stellar is because of that. So this happening on Stellar is huge to me. And I think Stellar is going to take off for it. So yeah, I pay attention to Stellar, and I'd advise other people to do the same. Then Grayscale had, filed for their XRP ETF, and that decision is getting kind of close. They think it's going to be, October 18th, right? So back to back, you've got dates coming out. I told you there's going to be news that will happen, right? You get the first filings. We got the first filings, I think, first week of February. Then we got another set of filings, second week of February. This is actually sooner than I thought. I was not expecting this stage of notifications to come out this soon. I thought it would come out first week of March. But now we're starting to hear rumors that, hey, this could happen. So if you look at the track, if you look at that calendar of events that's going to happen between now and October, we've got a long list. We've got a long list. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking a step back and I'm starting to think about, well, if somebody says they want to start an ETF, give it a little while, then wait for the acknowledgement for the ETF from the SEC. Then after the acknowledgement for the ETF from the SEC, then you're looking for these kinds of dates. Now, here's something to contemplate. When I start looking at those, there could still be another change in that the SEC might not be the oversight for crypto. There's a lot of talk in Washington saying that they want the oversight to actually come from the CFTC, which is why the CFTC and the SEC are actually in talks to have some kind of a joint approach to crypto. That's what I'm waiting for. So although that we can hit a lot of bumps, there are a lot of news points that could happen based on those talks, ETF filings. So there's already a line of news that we're definitely expecting. It's just a matter of when that news hits and then what kind of effect will it have. So that's what I'm paying attention to. When the news hits, the effect that it has, and then applying that to the next ETF, the next ETF, the next ETF, right? Because I'm thinking that the news is going to smack, right? When it's, hey, we're filing for an ETF, that's going to give you a nice pop. This stage where, hey, we think we're going to get a date, that's probably not going to give you a big pop, but it keeps it in the news. And then anything else that happens between then and the date that they think they're going to get, that's all going to be light news. And then on the day that it hits, or the day before that it hits, when they actually make the announcement, boom, that's going to give you another pop. So it's happened in the past like that. So now I'm paying attention to the new regime and how everything happens. Because remember, Gary Gensler used to wait. He would wait and then kick it down the road even further. And you sit there and you're just like, come on, Gary, are you serious? There are stages. There's one stage that takes 240 days. He would take the full 240 days, get to that last day and say, I have the opportunity to kick it down the road a little bit longer. That's exactly what he did. In this new regime, I don't think that's going to be the case. They don't have to take the whole 240 days. Remember that. So I'm expecting big change between now and then, right? Between now and when an ETF is expected to hit. So we're going to see. As far as I know right now, the only dates that are, or the only time frame that's actually true is when it's in public discussion. It has to be, I think, a minimum of 21 days, something like that. So paying attention to that. All right. What else do we have? Bybit CEO had called, what's his name? Ben Zhao. Let me just look that up for you real quick. Yeah, Ben Zhao had said Pi Network was a scam against Chinese users. And Pi Network came out with their airdrop, and guess what happened? It came out with the airdrop, and 60%. It plummeted by 60%. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, Ben Zhao might be onto something. And then he went further and he said, there are 0 plans of that coin being hosted on Bybit, being listed on Bybit. And I was like, dang, he's not playing games. He's absolutely not playing games. And I'm all for it. I am all for it because he's just saying, listen, it's an obvious thing to me. And if it's an obvious thing to me, I'm not going to have anything to do with it. I kind of like Bybit. I have to say, I kind of like Bybit. BitTensors, actually Gate.io invests in DEX, DEXX, to support blockchain growth. The strategic investment aims to enhance DEX's security, technical infrastructure, and user experience, reinforcing Gate.io's role in Web3 development. And Chicano, there's your news. So everything regarding crypto, like I said, meme coins, NFTs, metaverse, memes, all that stuff, that's all a part of Web3. Just sharing that with you. Then what you've got is BitTensor Tau predicted to surge about 125% as Bitcoin starts to edge toward 100,000. Now, if you stop and you think about this, we're right there. We edged up a little bit last night. When I woke up this morning, crazy early, we were over $98,000. When we get to the numbers later, we'll be able to go over that as well. Then we've got Bitcoin mining revenue remaining at about 1.4 billion over this past quarter. That's why you're seeing a whole bunch of miners start to think about how they can get into artificial intelligence, how they can get into high performance computing. And something that Riot did that I said just a couple of days ago, Riot entered into a brand new space. And it was they bought a wind farm. That means they're in the energy game. And I don't think people actually get that. So they bought the wind farm to, offset the energy costs for, their piece. But you have to remember, those wind farms in Texas create an amazing amount of energy, right? And from those wind farms, you're actually in the energy business. You're pushing it back to the grid, and you're sitting on the grid. So yes, you get some benefit from that, but you also get paid from that. That's a very big deal. That's a very, very big deal. I've been meaning to ask my friend because his company owns some wind farms, and I was wondering if his company was actually a part of all that. That's going to be interesting to find out. That'll happen over drinks. What else do we have? We've got Cardano. I spoke about that earlier, and I think it's something worthy of being spoken about again. Charles Hoskinson talking about how they're already, and I mentioned this, I think, about a month ago, right? Well, Charles Hoskinson has been saying, listen, we've been thinking about, quantum computing for a while. Most people in the cryptographic space have been thinking about quantum computing for a long time, a very long time. And so as we get closer to actual crypto, quantum computing, you've got to take that into account. You have to. And I think there are going to be changes. I think the more established or more advanced blockchains that are out there are going to make a move. And I think it's going to be a smart move. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should go over the numbers. Let me switch over to that for you guys. Pull that, push this, switch the screen. Boom, there you go. And let's start looking here. Right now, today, what we're expecting, S&P Flash US Services PMI, the Flash US Services, Flash US Manufacturing PMI, consumer sentiment, the final number, and existing home sales. That's the one. 10 a.m. is the time that I'm going to be looking at things. And I can tell you now that 10 a.m. number, when it hits, you're going to see a move in the stock market. And it really depends on the kind of news that we get. And I can tell you, I'm not expecting great news, right? If you think about this, the median forecast is 413 million. The previous number was 424 million. So you can already see that people are actually expecting a drop. So at 10 a.m., that's when we're going to find out. You see it right here. So if you're looking at this line for existing home sales, this is what you're looking for. The previous number was 424. The current, thought process is, they're going to get 413. I think it's going to be less. And then I think the stock market is going to take a dip, which makes sense because sell on Friday, right? That's kind of one of the rules that everybody has. Then you've got DeFi Llama coming in at $119.325 billion. That is an uptick. Slowly, we've been upticking, right? Earlier this week, we were at $114 billion in total value locked. So that's actually good news. Then when you come here and you take a look at, don't need that. When you take a look at the fear and greed index, we're at 55. Yesterday we were at 49. People are starting to regain their confidence, regain their footing. And if you look at where Bitcoin is now, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes, you can actually see that we're in a very, very, very good place. When you look across the big board, you sit back and you go, wow, there's actually a lot of stuff going on. Let me get rid of some of these ads. I'm going to have to switch browsers. This is too many ads. I have another browser where I don't have ads because I don't want you guys to be, taken back by that stuff. But you can see where you can actually make money. XRP took a small hit backward, and I'm like, oh, I need to get in on that. SUI jumped up. XLM is in a good place. Doge, I'm not touching Doge, but I know a few people will. Link is in an outstanding place to buy, at least for me, right? BTC, always a good time to buy. So I look at the big board just to get an idea about everything that's going on. Excuse me. And then what I do is I take a look at, that's just too much. Come on. Definitely have to use the other browser. You see how everything's starting to tick up? We're still within my pink band. My pink band goes from 93,434 to 99,655. And when you look at that, you can see we're starting to tick up in that space, but we still haven't broken through. I think that we're going to have to hit that other mark, which I have here at 102,771, to actually see any kind of momentum happening. Until then, I really think we're consolidating in this space. So we'll see what happens as the weekend happens, and we'll see. Then you have just the numbers over here, and one thing I want to call your attention to. Look at Cardano and look at the distance between Cardano. Yesterday, the distance between Cardano and Doge was $10 billion. It's now less. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, Cardano is making moves and people should be paying attention to it. It really, really should. Another one that's making moves. Number 10 is actually Tron, but I don't like Tron and I won't follow Tron. But I'm looking at Chainlink's moves. Chainlink has bunny hop, Stellar, Avalanche, SUI, and is now at number 11. I'm telling you, Chainlink is making moves. It's in a good place. But I also want you to pay attention to something. SUI took a step back. And I think it's consolidating. And I think SUI is very close to a breakout. Same thing for Avalanche. Avalanche has been making moves. Stellar, like I said, Stellar just got that new thing with the EURCV. That's a European stablecoin. I think something's going to happen with that. So I'm paying attention to those things. Litecoin again to me is another huge sleeper. Litecoin is now in the top 20. It's now in the top 15 coins. Year to date, it's made 31%. The only other one that's at that level right now in the top 25 coins is actually XRP. And XRP is being outperformed by Litecoin. So just saying, you look at the top 25 coins, the only other one, oh no, the other one I forgot was Mantra. That's also blown up at number 25. But out of the top 25 coins, that's it. Only those coins are doing so well. Other coins are doing all right. I mean, look at this one. Eunice said, Leo. I don't have anything to do with Leo, but hey, it's making moves. It's number 19. Right? You can say it's number 19 with a bullet. Just saying. So yeah, there are things that are going on that I'm really, really, really paying attention to. Don't need this one. Close that. So that's really what I'm paying attention to, guys. There's a lot going on, and I really think that you guys should be paying attention to all that stuff that's happening. And so there you go. This is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're all having a good one. I hope you all do well today, and I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, and most of all, thank you for your trust. Have a good one, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.